can't sell it later either.
Yeah, and that's the strategy you used to make your first million, and now you're using it to make tens of millions every single year consistently.
I never buy anything and sell it. I always sell it first.
JT Fox came to the U.S. from Canada with nothing. After falling into a 3-week depression, he realized that success was up to him.
3 weeks in bed, didn't get out of bed once, and one day I woke up at 3:30 in the morning. What do you think is on TV at 3:30 in the morning after I'd done a depression?
I've got a question for you. Who here wants to make more money in their life? Raise your hands if that's you.
You know, people are like, I made, millions of dollars in 20 minutes, and I said, I'm going to go to that. So I went to a free event, and I remember saying, well, who cares what you did? What can you do for me? But I still signed up for the $3,000. At that point, I was completely broke, put it onto my credit card, took a 3-day seminar event. And to be honest, I learned it more in 3 days than I did in 3 years of college. But the issue and the problem was, after you go to a 3-day, where do you go next? What do you do? What roadmap do you take? And I didn't know where to go. And so I tried a lot of things and it didn't work. I always say that a lot of people teach the how, but it's really the why. I mean, you can follow a script all day long, but if you don't have that roadmap or someone's going to be there to hold your hand, what are you to do? Because it's so easy to quit. I mean, quitting is one of the easiest things to do. Sticking with something, going through the good days and the bad days, that's a lot harder.
And after years of struggle, JT finally found a way to connect with his customers.
Those people, Louis, they don't want to move. They want to stay in their home. But I end up buying their home. And the idea is you have to understand, here's a tip. When you deal with people, number one, always spend 90% of the time talking about anything and everything other than what you're dealing with. Always focus on them first. I've bought and sold over 500 properties in the last 4 years. Bought and sold over 500 properties with no money, no credit, no experience, starting at the age of 23.
And you're how old now?
28, just turned.
Just turned 28.
There's a little gray hair right here to prove it though.
Right.
Success is not a matter of chance, it is a matter of choice. And if you choose to be successful, you will be successful, but you're going to have to do it without listening to everybody else.
I started off as a magician and as a prestidigitator, card and coin tricks and illusions, floating women and sawing people in half and such. And I realized during my young years that reality is created by validation. You give people enough validation and they see a new reality. Since perception is everything, and everything ultimately is trance, what happens is when you change your perception of things, you start changing the things you'll take action on. So first thing is you got to control your mind. Without that, no amount of tools, no amount of skill sets, no amount of instruction on how to do something will work, because unless you've got your mind tight, unless your programs are appropriate, you just won't follow through. And then step 3, obviously, is once we have mastered our own mind, once we have the proper tools, which the best way to get those tools is to find a mentor, find somebody who has done it, find a society of people who have come together with like mind. The third step is the hardest step. It's the one thing that nobody can teach. No instructor, no guru, no mentor, no organization can teach the ultimate thing that's necessary to create what you want, and that's the ability, just like you're doing right now with this program, to take action in the present moment, to take action on a consistent basis, even when it seems like it's not going anywhere, or even if we do our best job, what if nobody loves it, or what if I go out and I write a book and nobody buys it, what if I do a TV show and nobody watches, what if I tell her I love her and she doesn't reciprocate. All those things are squelched by just taking an action and seeing what the result is. It may be that your first few fortunes don't turn out. I've lost way more money than most people in life will ever lose because I've played a way bigger game. I've gambled at higher stakes. And my belief is no risk, no goodies.
Were you born into all this?
Actually, no, I was born on a farm in Michigan that had no running water. We had no electricity. We had no phone. We were homeless twice. And my second home was a converted chicken coop. So no, this wasn't, it didn't affect me much. This wasn't, though, how we started. how we started was just realizing that you need to get by, and then going from there. This is a blessing. This is more than I ever dreamed I'd have.
Michael Simmons and Sheena Lindell are co-founders of the Extreme Entrepreneurship Tour. They visit dozens of colleges each semester, spreading the word about what it takes to start a successful business.
And so what we're really focused on is getting people to actually start a business or think entrepreneurially and actually just take the action. When you're getting started, there's a quote that says that half the journey is starting. And I think that's really true, because when you're starting, that's when you have the least number of contacts, the least amount of knowledge. Things are going to be the most cloudy, and you have the least amount of resources. So things are really hard. And oftentimes we hear, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough time.
I would say probably one of the core things is stepping outside your comfort zone. So you've got this area where you're okay with the stuff that's going on. You understand how to do it. Life is okay, nothing to complain about. But stepping out of there where it feels not okay.
How do I know I graduate college? Do I get a job after school? Do I, maybe follow that wacky dream that I thought of with my buddies in my basement?
Right.
What do I do? Where do I go from here? Because, as you know, society tells us one thing. And I got my dreams, my passion, my family, my friends. Where do I go from there?
Well, I believe, and I teach it in my new book called Between the Dream and the Job. Your job is here for most people, but their dream is over here. So I believe that in between your job and your dream, you've got to find a bridge to get you from where you are to where you really want to be. In order to get from your job to your dream, you got to find a dream job. And that dream job for me was at the University of South Florida, where I took a 2-year position doing for another company the same thing I ultimately wanted to do in my dream. See, that's what makes the dream job unique, okay? I found a company that would allow me to work for them and better their organization while practicing everything that I needed to do so that ultimately I could go work for myself. So that company paid me $40,000 a year. And then on nights and weekends, when I wasn't at the University of South Florida, I was working on my speaking dream. And after 2 years of doing that, so yeah, that took a lot of work. But after 2 years of doing that, I was able to build my dream and make my transition, and I stepped out on my speaking career full time. So what I would say is it kind of depends on where a person is. There's 3 kinds of jobs: dead-end jobs, stepping stone jobs, and dream jobs. I just described what the dream job is. That's the bridge that transitions you from job living to dream living. A stepping stone job is what most people had. I got my first job when I was 14 years old. I was a package executive at Winn-Dixie Stores. People hear that all the time in my keynotes, And I believe that every job should build on the one that came before it and take you in a direction of your ultimate dream. There's nothing wrong with jobs. I don't have a problem with jobs. Jobs are great boot camps and they're great training ground to get you to your dream. But what I don't believe people should do is settle for just a job. Because of course we know, we've been hearing it for years, Robert Kiyosaki says that a job stands for just over broke.
See, the problem in most jobs, people are doing just enough so they don't get fired, and the boss is paying them just enough so they don't quit. It's not a good environment. The entrepreneurial environment, that's the spiritual environment. That's where the best in ourselves is going to come out.
When I got out of school, I started to write a book for college kids. I just wanted to help kids land what I call their dream job. But I thought if I just write the book, that it will fly off the shelves. And what I learned quickly is, you can have a book and you can have a garage full of books because nobody's coming and beating down your door, because if they don't know about it, how are they going to buy it?
Sure.
Or I can go directly to the marketplace and start speaking on college campuses and speaking to college kids and then get them to buy the book. So I'm going to ask you one question to this. And how you answer this question, I'll tell you whether you're going to be out of business in 6 to 12 months. Tell me how you're going to get prospects to walk through that door and give you money. Because if you haven't figured that out first before you start your own business, you're going to face frustration, you're going to face anxiety, you're going to waste a whole lot of capital. I like Sun Tzu, The Art of War. Great quote: every battle is won before it is fought.
Las Vegas, where people take risks every day hoping to beat the odds and strike it rich. In my journey, I learned that young entrepreneurs take risks every day and aren't afraid to fail.
So nobody really remembers all the times that you, if we could say, failed. What people remember the time, wow, this guy's sharp.
Yeah, everybody always wants to read the success story. Nobody talks about, man, the emails that came across, the guys tell you there's no way a kid can run this company, there's no way he can do X, X, and X, and X, and all the no's, and you can't. Because it took a lot of time. We had a number of venture capitalists turn us down. We got denied more times than we actually applied. I don't know how that happened. People just sending us denial letters. Denied. But, we kept going at it. We were so persistent because we really believed this was going to happen and we had to make it happen. And we were patient, persistent, and we were passionate. Am I the brightest guy? No. Am I college educated? No. But how many people that are watching this video have a college degree, went to some great school, probably went on a scholarship, have probably more money than I started with. They're probably wearing more than $250 in shoes and clothes and belts, right now. But I didn't let any of those lacks actually stopped me. I was just determined to get it, and I believed that it was actually going to happen.
Only thing about mistakes, don't make the same mistakes twice. That's stupid. Mistakes are learning experiences. Okay, if you start making the same mistakes over and over again, you're dumb. But you do want to make them once. You want to learn from it and exploit it and grow on that.
Mike Michalowicz is the founder of 3 multi-million-dollar companies that he started at a very young age. He's also the author of the best-selling book, The Toilet Paper Entrepreneur.
I've made horrendous mistakes, big things. I've risked my house and almost lost it. I've done things that would destroy most businesses. But then I recognized it, I've thought about it, I fixed it, which is a great learning experience, and then I assure they never happen again. Who would want $50? Okay, pretty much everyone, right? All right, so who wants it? Okay, who wants it? You want it? Okay. Now let's think about it for a second, okay? A second ago, everyone said you want $50. You saw it in my hand in front of you. Everyone wanted it, but no one got their f***ing ass out of the chair and took it, right? Everyone said you want to be a millionaire, but what are you doing to get it? This is the story that defines it all for entrepreneurialism. Henry Ford, whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. So if you think you can, if you think you can't, you are right. And I swear to God to you, if that's the only thing you remember in your entire life, it's true and it works. And that's entrepreneurial success, actually that's life success.
People say no as if it's a habit. Some people just have to say no, but you have to realize, and that's part of me I would never want to be in the entertainment business because you hear no so much. You're too fat, you're too tall, you're too short, you're too this, you're too that, you're too much of a lot of things. And I've always said I wanted to control and own my own destiny. So that's why I chose entrepreneurship as my path, because yes, you hear no, but a lot of times you will hear that yes. And it's that yes and that door that opens up many other doors. But a lot of people get discouraged and don't realize that everything we want is on the other side of fear. So we end up fearing rejection and not embracing the possibility of that next door that if you just knock on it, it may open up.
Listen, if your ideas just work 51% of the time, you're way ahead of the game. If I had all the money that I've spent on ideas that never saw the light of day, I would fill this room full of money. Believe me. I've spent a lot of money on ideas that didn't work, but I had fun trying to make them work. And when I found out it just wasn't going to work, I got on with a new idea.
I'll just settle for being average, for being mediocre. That's when you've got to bust through it. And that's when you've got to stick to it. You've got to take action, especially if you're a young entrepreneur. You have your whole life in front of you. Take the shot now before maybe you're married with kids and you've got a mortgage and go for it. You know, I say you get a 50-50 chance of getting whatever you want in life if you go for it.
There's no failure, only feedback. So if you're doing something and the feedback you're getting is that it's not working, that's not failure. Who labeled that failure? You just got feedback that what you're doing isn't working. You've successfully found a way that doesn't work, and now you're empowered to make a new choice.
The losses that you will have, they're learning experiences. And so you have comeback power. A friend of mine, Willie Jolly, he said a setback is a setup for a comeback. You have comeback power. You can get knocked down, you can lay on the canvas and feel sorry for yourself and tell everybody who comes by, or you can say, what did I learn here? And how can I use this? How can I leverage this knowledge, this experience, and use this as a platform to catapult myself to the next level?
We are here at the beautiful Temple House, the largest house in South Beach, Florida, and we're here with the owner, serial entrepreneur, Mr. Dan Davidson.
If you look back in history and you say, you know, it was only a little over 100 years ago that people said, well, humans will never fly. Well, when the Wright brothers disproved that theory, now you've got people that pick up the phone and say, I need to be in London tomorrow. They jump on a plane and they're in London. People used to say when they would watch Star Trek TV show as an example, they'd say, well, gosh, those little things that you have in your pocket and you can talk to other people, those telephones, that'll never happen. Sure enough, a few years later, everybody's got cell phones. And now cell phones that have video and images and allow us to communicate in ways that we never thought possible. So what entrepreneurs have to realize is that life is constantly evolving and opportunities always exist. And if you stick with the status quo and you say, this is as good as things are ever going to get, you'll never advance. So the entrepreneurs that I've seen that are quite successful embrace the fact that where we are today is never as good as where we can be tomorrow. And they always find a way to take everything and make it better. And it's an innate characteristic.
Look around at your 5 closest friends. Chances are they're a lot like you. But in business, who you surround yourself with can either make or break you.
An entrepreneur is a person who says, I already have done it before they think of yes, I can.
You see, partners make wealth together. All those buildings you see here started as a result of partnerships. It wasn't one guy coming up and say, hey, I got a deal and you'll make X amount. It's about building long-term relationships. And when you build that relationship, it's a lot easier to bring a deal and say, you know what, as a matter of the partnership, we'll do it together. And that was the key.
If you're going to soar like an eagle, you cannot hang out with turkeys. And here's what that means. You got to make a decision. The cool thing about eagles is that eagles fly alone or they fly with other eagles, period. And I believe that all of us have to make that decision at some point. You know what? I'm an eagle. I might have some chicken surroundings right now, but I was born to soar.
No matter where my journey took me, I kept hearing about how important it is to make connections. Whether it's partners or mentors, they should all play a key role in your game plan.
You can't pick your family, I know, but you can pick your friends. Pick wisely. Start hanging out with people that you aspire to be. If there's something that you say, man, that guy, that woman, she's got it. I want that. Connect with that person, pursue that person for that reason.
You can have the talent, you can be the best technical guy out there, but you always got to have those guys behind you that have been there, done that. They're willing to sign on and say, yeah, I'll work with these guys, because that makes an investor feel comfortable that you got the best of the new school and old school. So if you can bring that credibility, it's just like setting up a board of advisors. You want to be able to bring that credibility for investors, stockholders, and shareholders. You want to be able to bring credibility to your venture. You want to have mentors that say, you know what, if you guys sign on and give these guys the money, we still got some babysitters per se to make sure everything goes right. Well, guys with experience be able to make it happen. I mean, my mentor pretty much opened up his Rolodex, called on his credibility. One guy leads to another guy who leads to another guy. Birds of a feather flock together. So once you get one investor, they know some more.
We grew the company like crazy. We grew it to dozens and dozens of stores and franchises. And somewhere shortly after that, I called that attorney and said, look, man, this thing is really taking off. I need some help. So I said, would you come on and be my partner? And I thought he was going to laugh at me. I mean, he's this Georgetown educated attorney working for the biggest law firms in the country. And he actually said, yeah, let me think about it. And that was another kind of life lesson for me, was like, never ever be afraid to ask.
Every one of us is born the same, naked, helpless, and ignorant. Everybody, 100% of us. Oprah starts below scratch. I started below scratch.